Hello world! Welcome back to another TryHackMe challenge video. In this video, we're going to be going through the blue room. Let's get into it. Deploy and hack into a Windows machine, leveraging common misconfiguration issues. So we'll jump down to task 1, which is recon. Scan and learn what exploit this machine is vulnerable to. Please note that this machine does not respond to ping, ICMP, and may take a few minutes to boot up. This room is not meant to be a boot to root CTF. Rather, this is an educational series for complete beginners. Professionals will likely get little out of this room beyond basic practice, as the process here is meant to be beginner focused. If we scroll down, we see that there's a sequel to this challenge called Ice and another box related to this series called Blaster. We'll probably check those out in future videos. But anyways, moving down to the first question, or task rather. Scan the machine. If you are unsure how to tackle this, I recommend checking out the Nmap room. Okay, so it literally says use Nmap, but we're going to use Nmap because it's just nicer to use. So our target will be 10.10.154.108. We'll go ahead and run the scan on that. I'm coming down here. We'll go ahead and put completed for that. How many ports are open with a port number under 1000? So if we come over here, we already see we have a lot of ports to look at here, and it seems that there's 1, 2, 3 ports that are under 1000. Now, a basic intense Nmap scan is only going to scan like I can't remember if it's like the first 1000 ports. No, it's not the first 1000. It's like 1000 of the most commonly used ports, I think. So there could be more ports, and in which case we would need to specify the port range in our Nmap scan, but we're just going to go with 3 and hope that's the right answer. And it is. What is this machine vulnerable to? Well, we saw earlier when I was at the top of the room page, it's going to be Eternal Blue. But I want to show you what to look for to see if a machine or operating system is actually susceptible. But I want to wait for the Nmap scan to finish so that I can actually show you what it looks like to see how you can tell whether this machine that we're targeting here is actually vulnerable to Eternal Blue. So we'll just wait for the scan to finish. Okay, our Nmap scan is done, or Zinmap rather. And we can already see some SMB stuff here, so that's good. We keep scrolling up, we'll see our ports and what services are running on each of those ports. And we'll notice 445 is open, and it's running a version of Windows 7 on it with Service Pack 1. And those of you who don't know, that is a vulnerable version of Windows to the Eternal Blue exploit. But what we can do is simply just take this, and it's the SMB protocol that's actually susceptible, right? Because that's what's running on port 445. So if we go to Google, and we just paste in our Windows operating system version, and then we just say vulnerabilities, the first result here will give us what we want to know. So MS17-010 will be the answer to this next question. So as you can see, that's the form we're looking for. And that's the CVE for the Eternal Blue exploit or vulnerability. Our next task is to gain access, exploit the machine, and gain a foothold. So we'll just do a new tab, and it wants us to start Metasploit. So in order to do that, we'll just do, probably didn't need the sudo there since we're already running as root, but whatever. All right, our Metasploit is started up. Now we'll just complete that. Find the exploitation code we will run against the machine. What is the full path of the code? So we can just do a simple search, and that's the command you'll use in Metasploit to search for payloads, exploits, whatever, right? And we'll just do a search for Eternal Blue, and if that doesn't work, well, there's other search values we can search, or search vectors we can search by. It looks like the second one is probably the one we want to use, right? Exploit Windows SMB MS17_010 Eternal Blue. It matches pretty much exactly the information that we saw in the Zinmap scan, right? So we'll just take this, because I believe this is what the challenge wants as the answer. And yes, we are correct. Show options and set the one required value. what is the name of this value? So in order to set our exploit we want to use, we have to use the use command and then either the matching ID or the full exploit path of the exploit we want to use. So we'll just say use2 since we know that that's the exploit we want to use. Okay, let's go ahead and do a clear. And then we want to do show options to see what required value we need to set. And I believe it is the rhosts, right? And this is a required value, but as you can see, it is not currently set. So in order to set that value, we just need to do set rhosts and then to the host that we want to hack into, which will be 10.10.154.108. Okay. So the answer to this question was rhosts. Usually it would be fine to run this exploit as is. However, for the sake of learning, you should do one more thing before exploiting the target. Enter the following command and press enter. Okay, so they give us a command here, right? And it's to set the payload, which will actually be what we're dropping on the machine to give us a shell or interactive shell into the machine, right? But we can easily find that by just doing payloads. Oh, sorry. Show payloads, my bad. And we'll see that that payload that they have here is actually the same one that's at ID number 29. So we can easily just say set payload 29, and now we have our payload set up. Now all we got to do is run the exploit, and we can just say run or exploit, either one works. And I'll get back to you when the payload's done executing. Okay, so the payload is finished, I think, so we'll just press enter, and yep, we do have a shell here. All right, so we can say completed on that, and now confirm that the exploit has run correctly. You may have to press enter for the DOS shell to appear. Background the shell, Control Z. If this failed, you may have to reboot the target VM. Try running it again before a reboot of the target. Okay, so we do have a shell, so we're good there. So let's go ahead and background it. Yes. So we'll complete that and move on to task 3, escalate. Escalate privileges. Learn how to upgrade shells in Metasploit. If you haven't already, background the previously gained shell. Research online how to convert a shell to Meterpreter shell in Metasploit. What is the name of the post module we will use? Exact path, similar to the exploit we previously selected. So up here, I already have a Google search link that I got, and it'll tell us exactly how we can upgrade it. So there's two ways. We can either do sessions, tac u, and then the session ID, or we can use the, if we scroll down, this post multi-managed shell to Meterpreter module, which is what we want to use. So we'll say use post slash, was it multi slash manage slash shell underscore 2 underscore, and I think I can just tab complete it. Yep. So we'll do that. And then we want to show options, and we want to set the session. So the way we can see our sessions is just simply by typing in sessions, and we see we have a session at 1 here. All we got to do is set our session to 1. Okay. We'll run our show options again just to double check to make sure it's set properly. Okay, and now we just run. Okay, it appears that it has finished. So what we're required to change sessions, and let's go ahead and fill in the previous question as well, right? Because we already did all that. Submit. Oops. Oh, right. We need post there. There we go. Okay. And sessions. Session, my bad. Set the required option. You may delete the list all the sessions to find your target here. We did that. Run. If this doesn't work, try completing the exploit from the previous task once more. I believe we did that. Once the Meterpreter shell conversion completes, select the session for use. Okay, so how we do that is let's go make sure our sessions are available. Yep, we have a session 2 now, right? And that's our Meterpreter session. So all we have to do to set our current session to it is, or go to that session rather, is just doing sessions and then the ID. All right, now we are in our Meterpreter session. So we'll say completed on that. Verify that we have escalated to NT authority /system. Run get system to confirm this. Feel free to open a DOS shell via the command shell and run who am I. This should return that we are indeed system. background this shell afterwards, and select our interpreter session for usage again. Let's go ahead and run get system like they told us to. And as we can see, it says we did get system via technique 1. Okay, so it says we have system, and then it said we want to open a DOS shell, so we can just run the shell command, and that reopens our shell, and we can do who am I to see what we are. Okay, so we are NT authority / system, which is pretty much one of the highest authorities we can achieve. So yeah, we can pretty much do whatever we want now, right? Now, it did say to background that, and then now we're back in our interpreter session again. We'll go ahead and clear the screen so we can see it. Oh, looks like we can't clear it anymore. Okay, well, that's fine. Let me just increase the font size a little bit so we can see it a bit better. So we have escalated, so we'll complete that. List all of the processes running via the PS command, which is a process command. Just because we are system doesn't mean our process is. Find a process towards the bottom of the list that is running at NT authority / system and write down the process ID far left column. Okay, so we'll run PS, and here's all our processes. Now we're gonna want to choose obviously one of these processes that's owned by NT authority / system, and what better one to choose than probably cmd.exe. So 2496, so all we need to do is literally type in migrate, and then the process ID we want to migrate to, which will be 2496. Okay, it says it's completed now, so we'll just say completed. Oh, and we went ahead and did the next one. Whoops, got a little bit ahead of myself there, but yeah, basically it just says migrate to the process using migrate process ID command, where the process ID is the one you just wrote down in the previous step. This may take several attempts. Migrating process is not very stable. If this fails, you may need to rerun the conversion process or reboot the machine and start once again. If this happens, try a different process next time. Hopefully our thing is stable enough until we finish this room, right? So we'll go ahead and complete that and move on to task 4, cracking. Dump the non-default user's password and crack it. So within our elevated interpreter shell, run the command #dump. This will dump all of the passwords on the machine as long as we have the correct privileges to do so. What is the name of the non-default user? Okay, so we can literally just run #dump, and this command won't work unless our migrate work, if we migrated to a proper process that we can actually utilize. And it looks like it did work, and we'll notice here that there is a John user down here. It's telling us something. John the Ripper, right? Which luckily is built into our Kali box we have on here. So we'll just open up another tab, and we'll just do John, and we know, oh, well, let's locate rocku first, rocku.txt. Okay, there it is. So John word list equals /user /share /word list /rocku.txt. We're gonna actually set the format here, right? The format for the hash as is NT, right? Because remember, SAM files and Windows, they store passwords in NTLM format. So we need to set the format to NT. And then we'll just do john.hash, which I have not made yet. So I need to probably make that, of course, right? So we'll just say echo that into john.hash. Okay, there we go. Let's rerun this. Once again, got a little ahead of myself, but hopefully this will crack shortly. And there we go. ALQFNA22 is our password. Once again, I'm sorry, folks. I got ahead of myself. So this was John. And copy this password hash to a file and research how to crack it. What is a cracked password? So we know based off of the little hint they gave us with the user's name being John that we need to use John the Ripper to crack it. We had to set the format to NT, of course, and there we go. That's it for task 4. All right, let's move on to the final task, find flags. Here we go, the fun part, right? Trying to locate flags. Find the 3 flags planted on this machine. These are not traditional flags. Rather, they're meant to represent key locations within the Windows system. Use the hints provided below to complete this room. Okay, well, we're not going to use the hints. So, flag 1, this flag can be found at the system root. Well, okay, so let's go back to our interpreter shell. The system root is, let's see where we're at. Okay, we're in system 32, it looks like. So we need to go up one and up another. Where are we at now? Okay, here we go. This is the root location, right? It's just the C directory or C drive or whatever your main directory that your operating system is installed on. And as we can see here, there is a flag1.txt. So we'll just cat that sucker out. And there we go. That's our first flag. Okay, moving on to the next one. Flag 2, this flag can be found at the location where passwords are stored within Windows. Windows doesn't really like the location of this flag and can occasionally delete it. It may be necessary in some cases to terminate/restart the machine and rerun the exploit to find this flag. This is relatively rare, however, it can happen. Hopefully it didn't happen to us. But anyways, passwords in Windows are stored in here. We need to do Windows and then system32 and then config. And the reason I'm doing multiple CD statements is because in interpreter, I don't think you can type out a full path. So if I do cd ... Oh, it did work. Okay. Oh, no, it didn't work. Never mind. Well, anyways, so passwords are located in Windows system32 config. And as we can see down here, there is a flag.txt right here. And if we scroll up a little bit, you'll see the SAM file where the passwords are stored right there. So there you go. There's our second flag. Let's grab it. And let's move on to our final flag. This flag can be found in an excellent location to loot. After all, administrators usually have pretty interesting things saved. Okay, so we probably need to go look at the administrator user, huh? So we'll go cd ... Did that work? No, okay. So yeah, that doesn't really work like we want it to. And we're still... Okay, there we go. We need to go to users, ls in there. And the administrator user is missing, so our administrator user we want to look at is probably John. And that's just based off of that there's literally no administrator or other user it could be, right? All users and default users and public, they're all generated by the operating system by default upon the OS install. So John is the only unique user here. Well, who else could the administrator be, right? So going to John, let's ls. Let's check his desktop first, huh? Maybe there's a flag there. Nope, nothing there. We'll go back up. Let's try, how about documents? Maybe they have something in documents. Oh, there's our final flag. There we go. Congratulations, we've completed the room. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel to show your support, turn on post notifications to receive regular injections of our content directly into your feed. Check out our Patreon, join our Discord, follow us on Twitter, links in the description box down below, and leave any feedback or questions in the comment section down below. This is Almond Milk. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, world.